I just cannot get enough of the theme. Mike, hello, welcome to the water cooler. My name is Tyler Haig. I am joined by Mike O'Brien. Say what up. And I'm just going to let this beat ride out. Play us off into the sunset. All right, we'll fade it down. So welcome to the water cooler. Like I said, my name's Tyler. I'm here with Mike. Mike, how are you, good sir?
Good. You?
I'm really tired, but I got so much caffeine in me right now that honestly, it's just, I'm running on fumes. So who knows what I'll say over the course of the next hour and change.
It won't be intelligent, whatever it is.
Oh, dude, brutal. Well, you're probably right though. Unfortunately, that might might not be inaccurate. So much went on over the weekend. We have baseball playoffs. You're not a big baseball guy, are you, Mike?
Nope.
But that was going on. That's important to some people. Not really to me either. But that's going on. NFL football going on like crazy. College football like crazy on Friday. The NBA is getting ready to go. All of these different things to watch, to see, sports, et cetera, et cetera. Mike, what did you watch this weekend? What stood out to you? What stuck out to you, Mike?
The Baltimore Ravens defense gave up like 110 total yards.
110 total yards, not rushing,
Yes.
not passing, total in a 2018 NFL game?
If you consider the 11 sacks for minus 66 yards, yes, 110 total yards.
Wow. 11 sacks they had?
Yep, I believe they ran 5 or 6 plays, Tennessee did, on Baltimore's side of the field. 5 plays over the 50-yard line.
In their territory. Good God. Yeah. What was the final score of that game? Do you remember? 21-0. God, so they didn't even, well, of course they didn't score. Man, that is, so not like I'm asking you to like go super in depth on like who's who of the Baltimore defense, but like I know Ray Lewis isn't there. So he's not a part of it, but like who else? Terrell Suggs is still playing, correct?
Still playing very well too.
Yeah, but 11 sacks for that defense. That's obscene. That's like what? How does that happen? How do you hold a team to that few yards in 2018 with the penalties?
I have non-stop blitzing.
God.
Non-stop.
Do you think that the Vikings need to do more blitzing? They've been getting better over the last 2 weeks, but like, is this the thing that maybe some teams are missing? Is that we need to be more blitz happy to like get to the quarterback before these like, cornerback and like contact rules can take effect? Is it just a race to the quarterback? Should it be that?
Yeah, it depends on the quarterback. You don't want to be blitzing Brady and Rod.
That's a great call, yeah, because they will eat you up. Yeah, good call.
Rosen, Allen, Darnold, Trubisky.
Yeah.
Blitz the hell out of them.
Yeah, man.
Use them.
That's what I'm saying. And that's, I assume, what the Vikings are planning on doing against the Jets this coming weekend is confuse and get to Sam Darnold before he kind of understands what's going on, which conceivably would be, pretty easy. Or maybe not easy isn't the right way to put it, but of all the things, of all the strategies, that seems like one of the easier to pull off. Would you not agree?
I agree. You should be able to confuse them.
Let's talk a little bit about the NFL here. What did we see? Well, first, let's talk. So my thing, what stuck out to me this weekend was the Sunday night game was New England, Kansas City. And that game was pretty good, whatever. It was high scoring. There was no defense. I'm a big offense guy, so I like that. That's what I want, out of my team and games, I guess. But what stuck out to me was New England has been doing this. I think they said when Tom Brady led them to the, game-winning field goal or whatever, that was the 43rd time or something outrageous that they have done that. And the thing that stuck out to me was they've been doing it for 18 years. They've been doing it forever in New England. How can you replicate that kind of like longevity. Like that's what's going to set them apart from all these other dynasties and stuff, right? Isn't it?
Great coach, great quarterback.
And they can do it. They've done it for so long. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't compute for me.
What?
It doesn't compute. How do they? I just don't understand how this football team can stay that good for that long.
Tom Brady and Belichick. That's it.
Oh, shoot. We got issues here, Mike. We got, it's a normal episode, so we definitely have some technical issues coming up here. It's not a huge deal. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it in just 1 second. But hang tight. Hang tight real quick. Okay. I believe we have it fixed.
What was it?
It might have been just me that whole time.
Oh.
Not sure.
Shocker.
Not sure. We'll figure it out as we're going. That's only 7 minutes. I mean, that's not... I'm sorry for everybody that had to listen to that. If it was just me, I apologize. But anyways, Mike, welcome. If they couldn't hear you before, say hi, I guess.
Hello. Really? They couldn't hear me the whole time?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That was
it's very
good
possible.
Stuff I had.
Dude, you did have good stuff. Do we start over? Do we start the episode
No, let's
over?
roll. Let's roll. Let's just roll.
Unbelievable. Every week there's a new issue. It's amazing to me. Okay, so New England beats Kansas City. New England's been good for a long time, but let's transition into what's happening around the NFL, specifically, I guess, the AFC. New England, do all roads to the Super Bowl still lead through New England? Is New England still the team to beat there, Mike?
Of course. Yeah. For sure.
You don't think that, Kansas City hung with them last night, but do you think that Kansas City is like a serious contender to that? Because, record-wise, New England might have to go through Arrowhead, but you think New England's still the team to beat, even if they have to go to Arrowhead?
Well, that would change it a little bit, but I still think it's New England.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with that. Other games in the AFC. Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati on like a last-second drive, basically. Pittsburgh always beats Cincinnati. It doesn't matter.
Every time.
It's shocking to me. Pittsburgh, again, even without Bell, even with all of that turmoil and garbage going on over there, Pittsburgh still is somehow managing to stay relevant from a record perspective. Are we just penciling them in for another playoff berth again?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's just lets me know that their scheme is what makes their running backs good, because Connor's not missing a beat.
No, and Connor looks amazing. Bell is supremely talented. But do you think Bell can have that kind of productivity on a different offense? Or do you think that scheme is kind of where he's going to thrive?
It's the scheme. You got Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith. They can't guard the jam the box.
Yeah. And then because you're either going to tear them up from a wide receiver standpoint, or they're going to start dealing with wide receivers and leave Bell open. Do you think, how much, well, I guess that's kind of a difficult question to answer, like how much is he worth and like what would you pay him? But like, can you blame him for doing what he's doing with the franchise tag and with all this money? Like, where do you stand on the Bell situation?
I don't know.
It's a tough question, and I didn't really prep you for it, so I apologize. But
no, he should be playing.
You think so? The honor the contract kind of a thing?
At least in good faith.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's a little bit different too if you're severely underpaid and like franchise tag, you're like the average top 5 or whatever. So you're like, you can't be underpaid if you're on a franchise tag, right? Conceivably.
No, he's making like what, 14, 15 mil this year?
God, I don't even remember what that number's at. But yeah, I mean, because comparing him, I mean, just from the franchise tag, comparing him to the rest of the salaries for running backs, he's got to be, there's no way he's underpaid. He's got to be over 10 million, which, I mean, for a running back is crazy already.
Really good. It's really good.
Yeah. And he's demanding more money. So like from his perspective, I understand why he wants a long-term deal for like whatever, guaranteed money, financial security. I'm with you. But it makes more sense to me. It's easier for me to side with the players when they are, like Adam Thielen was severely underpaid. Some of these quarterbacks, the young quarterbacks that play, like Russell Wilson was severely underpaid. Like that would be a holdout situation I could like understand. But like, do you think it's the same just from a getting paid perspective, or is one better than the other?
I think the biggest mistake he made was not showing up. Do you want to know what James Conner's stats are?
Yes, tell me.
450 rush yards, 7 touchdowns, and 260 receiving yards.
Oh, yes. And I also saw on SportsCenter last night, Scott Van Pelt, SportsCenter had what do you call him? Not a logo, but had a graphic that he's done all that in less touches than Bell had last year. Has more yards, more touchdowns in less touches than Bell had at the same time last year. So yeah, basically what Bell is doing is showing everybody, or rather, he's forcing us to question whether or not he is worth that money and whether or not this is a scheme thing as opposed to a talent thing. Not that Connor isn't talented, but like, if you can plug him in there, I mean, there's no reason to pay Bell that money.
Not even close. You just pay this guy the 6 or 7 that'll take, and away you go.
Not even that, because what do they have him under contract for? When did they draft him? I mean, they got to have him like on super cheap for a long time here, or like 3-4 years. Right?
He might be. This might be his second year, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I think they're like, dude, like, and if you're Pittsburgh right now, what are you? It's like, sit out all you want, young man. Go for it. Like, don't sign this. I don't want to pay you anyways. I don't know. It's
running back in.
Do you think we maybe put too much stock into how well these guys are getting along in the locker room, and how like certain things look, like one of the talking points for Bell coming back is like, oh, how are his teammates going to handle it? His offensive linemen aren't going to like that. Like, do you think people look too much into that? Like the Timberwolves is another example with Butler coming back. How are they going to function? Or are we like...
They'll be fine.
The Timberwolves or Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Timberwolves are... We'll get to that later. but yeah, Pittsburgh will be fine, right? I think people make way too big of a deal about guys getting along. Like Randy Moss being a jerk. It's like, yeah, but he was Randy Moss. So nobody cared,
Except for, I believe... What was our center's name back then? Matt Burke choked him out for walking off the field one time before the game was over.
Did he hit him, like choked him out? He choked him out. Really? Yeah. He also, because Burke now does the Burke bit or whatever on Paul Allen's show, and he told a story about a fake punt that they were going to run where Randy Moss was supposed to do like he was going to run toward the sidelines. And whatever the rule was, if it was like 5 yards away from the sideline, stop, but like have his back to the ball so that they could snap the ball and just throw it to Randy Moss. And Randy Moss forgot and just walked the bleep off the field. And so they're sitting there waiting to like run this fake punt and nobody knows what's going on. Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny.
Randy Moss, dude, do what I want. But I mean, like that, those were really good teams for a hot minute, but Burke and Moss both played on some pretty bad Vikings teams too. And like some pretty how do I want to say, some pretty goofy personalities in those locker rooms with the Smoots and the Brian McKinneys and the Love Boats and the Culpeppers. And I mean, there was a lot of personality and ego.
Don't forget about Chris Carter.
Yeah, Chris Carter as well. God, so many. And John Randall was crazy through a lot of that. And that Chris Hovan was involved there. He's bonkers as well. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on for those teams. Pittsburgh, yeah, I think you nailed it with Bell. It's unfortunate for him, but he basically kind of squashed his own leverage here.
Yep.
By sitting out and letting Connor. Is it Connor or Connors, plural?
It is Connor.
Connor, singular Connor. Okay.
Correct.
Good to know. Yeah, man. I feel bad that he's not going to lose money because somebody's going to pay him. I don't think anybody's going to pay him the amount that he's like looking for. Well, maybe that's the question is, say now that all this is happening with Pittsburgh and he leaves after this season, who is going to pay him that amount of money? Like, who's going to pay him in the like almost $20 million range to be a running back? Is there a
Nobody.
team in the NFL that would? Yeah, I don't know if there is. Because before you'd be like, well, maybe Cleveland. But I don't know if Cleveland would do it now.
Nope.
What do you think Bell's maximum price is? Is it 15? I think it has to be 15 to 18 maximum. There's no way anybody's going 20.
12 to 15.
12 to 15 a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years? I mean, if I was signing, dude, it would be 12 to
4.
15 for, 3 to 4. Even the fourth year, I would hesitate because, I mean, we've seen it a million times before with these running backs, you know. It's that wall hits and they're donezo. And it's like next week it happens.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of miles on him, too.
He does. Well, and I think that is, that was one of the storylines about this whole thing was that it's good for him to be sitting out because these are, what do they always like to say on ESPN is the tread on the tires. He's keeping more tread on the tires, as a running back, which is like, I mean, I get it, but 6 games, 7 games, is that really, I mean, really how much tread are you saving at that point?
About 200 carries, 200 touches.
I mean, yeah, and he does have a lot more than most, too. So maybe it is helping him. But at the same time, Connor Kid comes in, looks great, is going to take your job. So it's a pro-con situation. There are pros. There are cons. Let's move on to another game. Dallas, Jacksonville. Did you see this? Did you watch this?
Yes, I did. Bortles sucks.
So let's talk about the Jacksonville quarterback situation for a hot minute here. Jacksonville had a number of options this offseason. Teddy Bridgewater was available forever. They could have done that. Some of the older dudes, the Fitzpatrick. Or was Fitzpatrick available this offseason? He was, wasn't he? He was with New York last year.
I think he was.
Yeah. That would have been another option. I mean, they had a lot of different ways that they could have gone to bring in veteran, I guess, mentor, challenge for the starting job guy. But instead, they're just going all in with Blake Bortles. Can you think of a worse starting quarterback in the league right now? Injuries out, because whoever is starting for San Francisco right now doesn't count.
Only one, and he's hurt. But he's playing. Marcus Mariota.
You think he's worse than... I like Mariota a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah, I like him when he doesn't have a effed up hand. But
good call. When
he's playing worse. Yeah, he's playing worse.
So, Dallas, are they real? Is that a team
No.
that is maybe going to... How then? I mean, well, we've seen it a number of times, but what is going on this season with, Dallas kills Jacksonville. Detroit kills New England. New York kills Detroit. Is this just one of those games? Is that how Dallas got this? Or is there something here that we should maybe be looking into? Because Dak didn't look bad. That Beasley guy looked real good. What's his name? Michael Beasley? Basketball
Cole
player.
Beasley.
I know. It was a joke, Mike. Come on.
Terrible dad humor.
He was on my bench on my fantasy. Well, we'll talk about fantasy later.
He should have been on your bench.
But did you see how many points he scored?
I did.
35 points. But anyway,
As
so
many
Dallas,
as he had
man,
all last year.
are they putting it together? Are they? You don't think they can? Their divisions. Okay, I mean, can they beat Washington? I think so. Can they beat Philly? Probably not.
Washington's pretty good.
I mean, are they though? And Dallas just beat the poop out of Jacksonville. I mean, I know Blake Bortles is garbage, but Blake Bortles has been garbage the whole time. And they went to an AFC championship game last year with garbage as their quarterback. So, what say you to that?
Washington's good.
I mean, is it better for the NFL when Dallas is good? Or is it time for them to stop being so annoying? I can't stand the Cowboys. I'll just come right out and say it.
America's
I want them to disappear
team?
forever. Yeah, dude, I can't stand them. I like Tony Romo, so that was tolerable, that portion. But like this, like whatever this version of the Cowboys are in 2018 where their best player is like a running back, I just am not really that interested in A, watching them, and B, watching them beat up on Jacksonville, who I also am skeptical of.
Huh. That was a letdown game for Jacksonville. I don't know how to explain it. Dallas is no more than 8-8 this year.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Dude, it's tough when you see the way they moved the ball yesterday, because I did watch a little bit of that. Or maybe it was just the highlights. Anyways, when you see them move the ball against Jacksonville, that's a good defense. And they looked really good, Dallas did.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Jacksonville defense will, like, rebound, and, like, look better than that. But if Dak Prescott can be that good and move the ball like that, and then they have their running game, I know their offensive line isn't as good as it used to be, but, like, I mean, seems formidable.
Yeah. It was one game. What about the previous 3?
Yeah, they did not look good in any of the others.
No.
What else happened in the NFL? Were there any other games that you caught that you wanted to discuss at length? I was very impressed with the New England-Kansas City game. That Mahomes kid is something, dude.
Bears-Dolphins was pretty entertaining.
Oh, yeah, Bears-Dolphins. That's a really good one. Bears defense didn't look that awesome, but
I don't think they got a sack at all.
No. And I heard a stat that the Pro Football Focus does their grades and whatever, and this game was Khalil Mack's like worst game ever.
Yep.
Like he'd like never been graded lower than what he had on that game. We were
he didn't even sniff the quarterback.
No, we were being presented with the Bears like the Bears had like figured this out, but the Dolphins had Brock Osweiler as their quarterback and just beat them in overtime. Are the Bears going to disappear? Are the Bears a team that the Vikings should be looking at, concerned with? Or do you think they're going to fall apart?
No, we should be concerned because when you scheme all week for one quarterback and then you got to go up against the backup, that's tough.
Oh, yeah, which is what the Bears did against, good call. When did Tannehill get
Tannehill
injured?
does not have Osweiler's arm. They were not expecting that kind of throwing power.
Dude, but it's Brock Osweiler. He's horrible. But he also, I guess he is really good against Chicago. What's his record against Chicago is unbelievable, someone was saying. That he's like 4-1 against Chicago and 14-86 for everybody else. I have no idea what his actual record is, obviously, but
Nice research.
Yeah, buddy, you like that? So, all right, enough with this real football garbage. Let's talk about fantasy football. Mike, how did your fantasy football team do this weekend?
I won. I'm 4-2. I have Saquon Barkley.
And he played well. What is your record? What's your team looking like these days, these years, this year?
4-2. I'm sitting in
Sitting in the what? Say it again.
At 4-2. I'm sitting in the 4th spot right now.
Got you. My team's garbage. My girlfriend had something going on draft night, so I am an auto draft guy this year. Not proud of it, but I am that guy. 1-4 is my current record. But Mike, this was the weekend. This was the week we put it all together. 120 some points. Let me just double check here. I want to get you some real stats. You know, I don't want to be inaccurate with the fantasy stuff, but I did have Cole Beasley on my bench. That was like 35 points. Not happy about that. Who else was amazing? Ben Roethlisberger, 21 points. Julio Jones, 19 points. Melvin Gordon. Let's talk a little bit about Melvin Gordon.
Wait, you got Julio and Melvin?
Yeah, buddy.
And you're 1-4?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, every week I get beat at the last minute. I get beat by small amounts of points. I get beat it's horrible. It's been awful. 1-4 was my record before this week. And I'm going to win this week, thank God. Let's see what the final score was.
That's
117. 117. And yeah, man, it's been brutal. Julio, Larry Fitzgerald, Melvin Gordon, Zach Ertz. Like, come on. Jacksonville's defense. Wah, wah, wah. That was -1. But who did you have any negative numbers? Did you have
my kicker got me 0.
Terrible. Who was your kicker?
The Tennessee kicker. Ryan Suckup.
Oh, Suckup. That's right.
Yeah.
Suckup. What is with Tennessee? So they're bad. Like, real bad. Marcus Mariota can't grab football. Like, what? I don't.
Their offense is horrible.
Horrible. And they just hired Vrabel. He's going to be the guy that's going to fix that.
I think they just pulled a name out of the hat and then chose him.
It sure sounds like that. Was he a New England guy? Is he a Belichickian? Oh, well, that's why. They just got the sad, this year's model of Belichick disciple. That bothers me. The coaching tree thing. I understand that there is some value to, learning under somebody and seeing a way you teach a system or whatever. But to just hire all these guys under Belichick and just assume that they're going to be the next Belichick is just outrageous to me. Outrageous.
It's worth a shot, I guess, but Vrabel's kind of a long shot.
Yeah. Well, the offensive coordinator stuff I could see because what's dude's name? Josh McDaniels. I could understand somebody giving him the keys and being like, all right, Tom Brady and that offense, dude, thumbs up, let's get it. And then figuring out oh no, it wasn't. It's all Belichick.
Indy tried to do it. He sniped him right before they were about to have the press conference. Remember that?
Who? What?
Indy. He accepted the job.
Oh, that's right.
And then backed out.
Yes. Oh my God, I almost forgot about that because he was in Denver before, right? And then came back.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and then Frank Reich took the Indy job instead.
Another terrible decision.
That's crazy. Dude, I'm a big Frank Reich guy. I was a fan of him when he played in Buffalo. He was a backup in Buffalo for a long time. He is the quarterback who led the greatest comeback in NFL history, Mike. I'm not sure if you knew that.
I did know that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Only I know that. Yeah, man, Frank Reich. I like him. I think he's good. How is Indy doing this year? Andrew Luck, meh, haven't heard anything. They look not that great, right?
I think they're 1-something. 1-5, maybe?
I have not heard anything about Andrew Luck or the Indianapolis Colts this season. It's crazy.
1-5. He's playing all right, though. Luck's playing all right.
Yeah, see, and they still are in the recovery phase from the team that they the horrible, horrible drafting decisions and all the Luck had nobody around him. Nobody. Which is insane to me that you could do that. That you could have a quarterback that good and not have anybody to help him, not have anything to take advantage of that. Let's talk about the Vikings.
Oh.
Let's talk about
Okay.
Let's talk about let's talk about the game first that they just played on Sunday. Who did they play, Mike? Who was it? A win?
Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona. That's the second. I've done 2 podcasts today. Forgot both times. Rosen. I always want to say Rosen. The Fighting Rosens. No, it's not the team. It's not the team. It's the Arizona Cardinals. I thought they looked good, Vikings-wise. The Vikings aren't really going to blow teams out. You know, they're not going to score 1,000,000 points, but that's about as comfortable a win as you're going to have for this team at this point, right? Is that fair to assume?
Considering we didn't score after like the 8-minute mark of the third quarter.
Is that right? Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just was at no point during that whole game was I ever concerned about the outcome. I mean, I thought the first possession of the game, Arizona comes down, moving the ball really well, and they had to settle for a field goal. And when that happened, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this Vikings might be in business here. They might be in good shape. Notable news from this game, Mike Hughes tears his ACL.
Yeah.
Out for the season. Real bad.
Real bad.
Although Mike Hughes was just a rookie, he still was getting a ton of time. They were moving him around. He was playing in the slot outside when Waynes was hurt. Waynes is now back. Rhodes is, I guess, healthy, because as healthy as you can be in week 6. Where does the Vikings secondary go from here, Mike? Can Holton Hill step in there? Is Mackenzie Alexander good enough to continue playing? Is Jaron Kearse an option? Do you think this injury could maybe derail the plans for the Vikings going forward?
I wouldn't say derail, but Mackenzie better, hopefully he wakes up tomorrow and doesn't remember he's horrible.
You know, there were sections of the game. There were sections where he looked pretty okay. There were also a couple of different plays where he looked really bad.
Yeah. I'm nervous.
I don't like him playing a lot. I don't know if Holton Hill is going to be any better of an option. I would love for them to do Sendejo, Harrison Smith, George Iloka, Waynes, Rhodes, Kendricks, Barr. Have that be everybody who's not a defensive lineman. Why don't they do it, Mike? Why don't they go with a 3-safety look?
Well, they did it several times yesterday.
I mean,
who would play slot, though?
I don't know, because you don't. Terrence Newman, dude. Terrence Newman, that's who. But he can't because he's coaching. I don't know. That's the thing is I don't trust Mackenzie Alexander in that spot. I don't trust Kearse was in that spot a fair amount on Sunday, and I don't know if I trust him. Who would you put in there if you were?
If we can keep Alexander on the slot, I'm fine with that. If he's got to go outside, we're in deep trouble.
Mm-hmm. That, honestly, to me, is my biggest concern about this injury is not necessarily that injury itself, but it puts us in a position where we're one injury away from having literally nobody to go to.
Waynes is going to miss more games. He gets hurt every other game.
For real. And Xavier Rhodes is going to have to exit the game at an important time. You know, and then who do you put in? Because here's my, they're an injury away from starting Marcus Sherrills. That's terrifying. God. Like that, that's not going to get you very deep into the playoffs. Between that and the offensive line, who looked okay.
What?
I thought the offensive line looked okay.
No, they did not.
Okay, here, let's move on to our brand new segment, our brand new section called Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down. Okay. Mike, you just have to say thumbs up or thumbs down if you liked it, didn't like it. We're going to go over some Vikings, some of the stuff from the Vikings game, right? So we're going to start with the offensive line. Mike, thumbs up, thumbs down. It sounds like I know your answer.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Why?
Did you watch the game?
I mean, I watched the game. I thought they did okay. I don't think they did great. There was definitely some pressure given up, a lot of pressures. There were some sacks as well. But I thought
4 sacks.
Yeah.
Could have been 8 if Cousins wasn't crafty.
He is crafty, it's true.
They were getting pressure from the outside almost every play. O'Neal's getting punked. Ryan Hill's getting pushed back. And our center's still not right.
I don't disagree with the center not being right. I think you are right on it there. I don't think he's anywhere close to 100% right now. I thought the rookie did okay. Not great, but for a rookie coming in, I thought he played about as well as we could have hoped. I think that's bigger picture. One of the biggest concerns about this team is that I don't know if this offensive line is good enough to allow them to get to an NFC championship game this season, to be honest, if I'm being honest.
They need to get better.
But I am going to give them a thumbs up because,
Homer.
Listen, because they ran the ball pretty well. And they didn't lose the game for him, I guess. That's where I'm going to go with. I'm going to go thumbs up because they didn't lose the game for the Vikings. Did they have a turnover for a touchdown in that game? Was that a thing that happened? Was there a fumble recovery touchdown?
Arizona?
Yeah, okay.
Yep. That was Chandler Jones running right
hurts.
around Hill.
Kind of hurts
strip
my
sack,
argument.
touchdown.
I thought Hill was not very good. Hill, for me, gets a thumbs down. Offensive line as a whole, I'm going to give a thumbs up. Next one, rushing offense. Mike, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'll give it a thumbs up. Barely.
Barely. You have to give it a thumbs up. That's the best rushing performance they've had all season.
Against the worst rushing defense in football. They average what we got.
You're
giving
right.
Up 160 yards a game.
And that's a lot. I don't disagree with you. But it was good to see them. It was like the Vikings had to remember what it looks like to run the ball well. And I'm glad they got to see that. So I'm giving it a thumbs up because it's definitely the best. But you're totally right. The concern here is that Arizona just can't stop anybody running the ball. Do you think that the Vikings can duplicate that type of performance against the Jets next week, Mike?
No.
You don't? What do you expect? Because the Jets, we'll talk about it maybe a little bit later, but the Jets have I had it written down, the 18th ranked rush defense. They give up 108 yards a game. Do you think the Vikings will have 108 yards rushing against the Jets?
Ooh, over under.
Over under.
We'll say under.
Under?
Yep.
Under?
Yep.
All right, we'll write it down. Over under. Under, Mike. All right. Defense. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up. 2 of them.
2 thumbs up. Ooh. Dude, I didn't even think about adding a second thumb.
You like
crazy.
that?
That's crazy, bro.
You like that?
Yeah, man. I mean, the defense played well. They did. I'd like to see more turnovers. I'd like to see them score more points. I'm going to give them a thumbs down.
What?
I'm kidding. All right, fine. Yeah, it was a thumbs up. They played pretty well. Defense looked good again. The opening drive, the scripted plays, Mike, the scripted plays look really good against the Vikings. The first drives, the opening drive of the second half, teams always look really good on those scripted plays.
Yeah.
I like that the Vikings can adjust and, make them not look as good the rest of the time. But the scripted plays worry me because there's vulnerability there. But yes, I will give the defense a thumbs up for this game. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Special teams, Mike.
A thumbs up, I guess.
Thumbs
Pretty
up.
nondescript.
Dude, no missed field goals, very important. And their punter wasn't awful. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Special teams is garbage. All right, here's the most important question that we will ask this entire show. The most important.
Mm-hmm.
The dead arm dance that Kirk Cousins was doing. Thumbs up.
Terrible.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs
Jesus.
down, dude. It's the best thing since the Skull Chant.
It did it like 4 times. It was terrible.
It's awesome. It got better every time. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of bad. By the fourth time, I was all in, dude. All in. Here's a little nugget for you that Adam Patrick from Bleeding Purple podcast let me know about. Adam Thielen's wife tweets today, the dead arm dance, that's a Mankato thing. That's an MSU thing.
Really?
Yes. So not only is it the greatest dance of all time, it originated in the greatest state of all time. So, I mean, it's just, I'm 2 thumbs way up, way up on the dead arm dance. Sub question for you, Mike. Is the dead arm dance on the same level as the Duck Duck Grey Duck celebration or the leapfrog or, some of the other celebrations we saw last year? Where do you rank this celebration?
No idea. Duck, duck, goose, by the way.
No, man. Duck, Duck, Grey Duck in Minnesota. We invented it. Don't take this away from us. It's ours.
I like the leapfrog one.
Oh, really? No, man. Leapfrog's no good. Thumbs down. Thumbs down. All right, that's the end of thumbs up, thumbs down. Good job, Mike. That was a real good segment, I thought.
Do you give me a thumbs up?
No. I mean, you were pretty good, but you're not that good.
All right.
Let's move on to the question of the week. The question of the week, Mike, is this. Is Adam Thielen the best receiver on his team? He might be the best in the NFL. He might not be the best wide receiver on his team.
He is.
You think so?
The best.
Better than Diggs?
Yep.
Statistically speaking, I cannot argue. Adam Thielen
Forget the stats. There's a reason he's catching 12 balls a game. He is always open. Every single time. His route running is second to none.
He is basically a magician. And here's the thing that I think is kind of separating him right now for me from like normal wide receivers is Kirk Cousins is now just kind of throwing the ball in his general direction when the pressure is coming, and it is working out every time. Have you been noticing that?
Yep.
It's like an easy, or not easy isn't the right way to put it, but it's like his safety valve is just wherever Adam Thielen is.
He catches everything.
Do you think he's going to keep this pace up? Do you think he's going to do this? Well, I mean, he's already like broken records, hasn't he, with 100 yards per game thing?
One more. He'll tie the record at 7.
Okay. But the record was like from a really long time ago where the rules were all different and everything was goofy. So basically he's got the record. But one more game against the Jets, I think he could do it. Do you think that, I mean, not that he's going to catch 12 balls a game and like average over 100 yards, but like what do you think is like a realistic, like what are those numbers maybe going to be this year? Like is he a 1,500 yard guy? Is he a 2,000 yard guy?
No.
Yeah, 2,000's a lot. I don't think
he's at 700 right now.
How amazing is it that it was like was it last year or 2 years ago where he got to 1,000 and we were celebrating because it had been like how many years since any Vikings wide receiver had gotten to 1,000 yards. Now it's like he's going to have 1,000 yards before the bye
week.
Like that's ridiculous.
Did we figure out when the bye week is?
No, I have not been able to figure out. I haven't looked it up. I did a pregame show before the game on Sunday. There were 5 guys who write about the Vikings, and not a single one of them knew when the bye week was, which is ridiculous. But
it is kind of
where we were at. Yeah, nobody knew. I don't know. As far as the Jets game coming up, would you like to give predictions? Let me rephrase that. Give me your prediction, Mike, for the Vikings against the Jets.
I think it's a close one. I'm going to say 21-17 Vikes.
21-17 Vikes. You know, I think you're right on it. I think that they have enough on offense to kind of hang around. I think that if Darnold gets going, they might not. I think it might be closer than people think. I think the Vikings are going to win. I think they have to win. I think it's. I don't want to say have to win, but I think it's imperative that they win to stay where they want to be in the standings in the NFC North. So I think they're going to win, but I think it's going to be 28-21. We're going to go 24, 28-24.
High scoring.
Yeah, 24 would be a lot. I'm sticking with it. God dang it. I'm sticking with it. That's my prediction. All right. Let's close this episode up with I've been waiting to talk to you about this. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Mike. The Minnesota Timberwolves and Jimmy Butler. It's getting
Jimmy
weird.
effing Butler.
Jimmy effing Butler. So I wanted to first, I'm sure everybody listening knows, but Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. Trade isn't happening. Demanded a trade. Thank you. Demanded a trade. Vikings. Timberwolves have not yet traded him. There are rumors that Tom Thibodeau is not interested in trading him. There are rumors that Glenn Taylor is trying to trade him without Thibodeau. It's a mess. It's a disaster. So I'll frame it like this, Mike. I'll ask you this way. You are the president of basketball operations for the Timberwolves. You're in charge. You're the guy. You're the boss.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do right now, this moment? You got the job just now. What do you do with Jimmy Butler going forward? What is your first order of business?
Well, I don't trade him till the trade deadline.
Really? You would?
There's no leverage. There's no leverage right now.
You're
Put him on the
bonkers.
court. Let him show his skills. Wait for a desperate team with an injury to come and sell the farm for him.
Oh, my God. You're nuts. That's ridiculous.
There's nothing going on right now. Miami doesn't even want him anymore.
I mean, Miami would take him, and you could open those talks again.
Yeah, I think we can do that at the trade deadline.
The first thing you have to do is get him out of there. You got to get him out of there.
No.
You're not going to win.
No.
I don't think they win a game. Well, here's my question. Why would a team give you anything for a guy at the trade deadline that they could get for free, or who's going to be a free agent at the end of
They're going to have to be desperate.
I don't know if anybody's going to be that desperate, though, man.
Oh, sure. Any trade we can make now with Miami, we can make at the trade deadline.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I guess I hear what you're saying, though, because the market will shift, and yeah, you're probably right. Even if it's not, let's say it's not Miami and somebody else, the market could shift and someone could get desperate. I hear what you're saying. I think that are you just basically throwing this season away then, if you're the Timberwolves?
No, he's going to play fine.
You think that? I don't think they can.
He's auditioning for 30 other teams.
I mean, he is, but that doesn't mean you're going to win any games. That means he's going to look really good.
Why wouldn't we win any games?
I don't think that. Well, yeah, they probably didn't like each other very much last year. But I don't know, from a player's perspective, from like Karl Anthony Towns. You're Karl Anthony Towns. You're Wiggins. I wouldn't, why would you go to work? Get him out of here. He doesn't want to be here. Tell him to go. Get lost.
We need a trade partner to do that.
I just think at this point, if you want anything to happen with this season, because they're going to lose a ton of games. He hasn't played with them. They look like garbage. I just don't think they can win enough games to stay relevant that even if you have him, by the time you get rid of him at the trade deadline, you're going to be selling I don't want to say selling low, because you're right. The market could change and they could get a good deal. But if you have him for that long and say things are going well, what's preventing you from trying to sign him, or why would you then get rid of him? If things are going well.
Because he's an a-hole.
Well, he is an a-hole. I agree with that. Here's my biggest issue with the whole thing. Jimmy Butler parading around as though he has won stuff.
Yeah.
He has not won anything. He has not gotten the team out of the second round of the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope. No.
And yet he is being treated as though he is like a rock star. Like, come on. I just can't get into it. Do you hear what I'm saying? Does that is like my biggest. That to me is why you don't wait. That to me is why you get him out now. Because he's good. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But like, is he on the level of like a. I mean, did you take more time like getting rid of Kevin Love? Were you more afraid of getting rid of Ricky Rubio?
No and no.
I mean, yeah, like it's comparable though is my point. I don't think he's good enough. He's not on a Kevin Garnett level. He's not on a LeBron James level. He's not on a Dirk level. I mean, I don't even...
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, man. That's where we're at.
He's on a Kawhi Leonard. He's on that level.
I guess that's a... Both those guys play defense, so that's probably a fair comparison.
And they're both kind of douchebags.
What did... where is Kawhi now? Toronto? What did they get
Toronto.
from him? They sent a... It was just one first rounder, and then one of the two that they had, one of the two big boppers up there. Was it DeRozan or
DeRozan? Thank you.
Who was the other? Who's the other guy?
Lowry.
Yeah, Lowry.
Yeah.
Okay, so DeRozan. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even think. Do you think Jimmy gets more than that? Do you think Kawhi Leonard is worth more than Jimmy Butler? Like, is you think that's the bar? Is the Kawhi bar?
Yeah, I think they're the same player.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, and if that's the bar, at this, I would just get rid of him. Pitch him out. Whatever. What are you going to get? What is it going to matter? There's no equity here. Yeah. He hasn't done anything. Like, it drives me crazy that they're allowing this dude to, like, hijack their franchise.
Yeah, look what we got for K-Love, though. He didn't do anything either.
Yeah. Well, didn't they got who's his
Look what they got for Kawhi. I mean, I guess Kawhi won a championship, I guess.
Yeah. I see in that, I think that does matter. But granted, I mean, Kawhi did win a championship, but he wasn't like the man on the championship team. He was a part of a championship team. That's like saying like JJ Barrera has a ring. So, like yeah, he does, but I don't think he was like a big part of
I forgot about
what was going on. JJ Barrera.
Saw him at the mall.
He's not a very big guy.
No, not at all.
No.
He averaged like 16 points a game, though, when he was with the Wolves. It was ridiculous.
Dude, he was an impressive basketball player. He used to drive me crazy with the decisions that he would make. Found out later on that he was just in there to score his points and get out. Like, he hated it here. He wanted to leave. Like, he wasn't into the whole thing. He just wanted to get enough stats so he could get a deal somewhere else, I guess. That's inside information. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that on the...
Sounds like every other T-Wolves player.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So the T-Wolves Butler thing, what is your, I don't want to say prediction, but like, how do you see this playing out? Do you think, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of time left, but do you think that he's going to play with them and they're going to just wait this out until they like get the right deal, possibly as long as the trade deadline? Is that what you think?
Yep.
Man.
I think his mentality, I don't think he can sit out regular season games. I think he'll drive him nuts.
You think so? You think that is, yeah. I mean,
he's too competitive.
Yeah, I hate that because if you're too competitive to sit out a game, you're too competitive to like go to a practice and freak out on your teammates and then go to ESPN about it. Like where's the competitive nature in that? Like
that was kind of chicken. You know what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like he's going to be too competitive to sit out a game. Yeah, bleeping right. If it does Jimmy the way Jimmy wants it done, then he's going to sit out all day. Because that's where we're at with this, is Jimmy only cares about Jimmy. And if it works out best for Jimmy Butler, he will do it. If sitting out is the best thing for Jimmy Butler to do, that is what he will do.
It's not, though. People will forget about Jimmy Butler if he's not playing. He can't be the center of attention if he's sitting at home.
Yes, Mike. Yes, that I think you nailed it. I think he understands that he is not a big enough name to be here in Minnesota and then disappear. He has to be playing. He has to be on SportsCenter. He has to be reminding people that he's really good at basketball.
Every single game, he'll remind us how good he is.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It just seems like such a disaster. How do you work in that kind of environment? How do you ask Cat to do something like that? It's crazy. All right. Do you have anything else you would like to add on the Timberwolves front, on the Jimmy Butler front? Is there anything you want to complain about? How do you feel?
Jimmy Butler sucks, and he can get the hell out of Minnesota.
That's what I'm saying. Did you get real close to the microphone to say that?
Yes, I did. He's a hypocrite.
He is.
All this, Chicago, I was the face of the franchise, and they booted me out. Well, what is he doing to us right now?
No, it's the same thing.
This
was the same production that he had in Chicago. He was super divisive. He killed that locker room. He totally undermined the credibility of his head coach, who had just started being a head coach. Yeah, man. The more I learn about Jimmy Butler and the more I experience with him, the less of a fan of Jimmy Butler.
All because he became friends with Mark Wahlberg. He's
Give
a big
Mark
shot.
Wahlberg.
Jesus.
Dude, Mark does strange things to people. Can't really argue with that. Well, Mike, thank you very much for joining me on the water cooler. I'm very excited to hear if it's just me for the first 7 minutes or not.
Me too, actually.
So I'm excited to apologize if it is just me. But thanks for joining me either way. And I will see you next week.
Peace out, Butler. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Peace.
See ya.